Rob Howe, president and musician in the South Valley Symphony, and we're sitting down with Jonathan Souza,
Yes.
who is going just to interview him and have him tell us a little bit about his perspective and experience with the upcoming program. John, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about you. Maybe give us your elevator speech and
Sure.
what you like to highlight about yourself.
Sure. Well, I'm in my 24th year of music education, which seems crazy. That has been over 2 decades of being a music educator in California public schools, but also in the private sector education and teaching at international school in Mexico. I've taught all levels of music education to school-age children, from pre-K to all the way up through 12th grade. I've been a choral specialist, but also a band teacher, instrumental teacher, and I've taught music technology and all kinds of things. So I'm really grateful for the experiences I've had along the journey, through my journey, and being an educator really informs my choices as a conductor as well, and what I prioritize for my ensembles and how I approach music and the music making experience. And really, through my journey as an educator and then as a choral conductor, the sense of belonging and community has really become important to me at this stage of my career, and finding a place for all my singers and all my musicians in the ensemble and in the performance is really important to me, even if it's a piece or something that they don't initially connect to or identify with. I think music and the stories that we are telling are worth telling and worth sharing, and we can all learn and grow from them and gain new perspective or validate our own as well. And so, as a music educator, I really feel like that's one of my roles is not just to teach young people and about music, but what it is to be human. And of course, as a conductor, that translates as well into my work in the community, as a community musician and director, and as I do different types of music performances and activities.
I'm curious. You are clearly very creative, and you're also, music means a lot to you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your personal philosophy about music?
My personal philosophy is that music is an essential part of the human experience, and whether it be as a performer or singer, not even a performer, a doer of music. And I think that whether you are actively participating in music as a musician, or experiencing music as an audience member, or just someone living life and having music in their lives, it's inextricably linked to how we experience the world around us, culturally, and for many people spiritually. And so I think the thought of divorcing ourselves from music is not a human experience. And so that keeps me grounded and finding purpose in a variety and diverse literature that I engage in, that I find interesting, that I find challenging for myself. I try not to keep myself in a box. I'm open to new things. I think that travel really helped me with this and made this big world. I grew up in rural California, and had a lot of opportunities to travel, within California and see neat things here. But going to grad school and have an opportunity to travel internationally with San Jose State Choraleers, with Charlene Archerbeck, really changed my brain and made this big world much, much smaller and more interesting. That regardless of who you are, where you come from, we have some kind of music that is really inextricably linked to our human experience.
Tell us a little bit about the two pieces that you've actually selected for this program.
Sure. We'll start with Serenade to Music by Ralph Vaughan Williams. Ralph Vaughan Williams is one of my most favorite composers, particularly when I was studying music in college, both undergraduate and graduate level. I just loved his music. I loved singing his solo songs. I loved singing his choral works. I loved listening to his orchestral works. I just really found his harmonic language intriguing and engaging for me. In particular, where I was at that time in my life, learning about music and having, all these new music experiences with new music in my life, I really just fell in love with Vaughan Williams. And there's so much that people much smarter than me can talk about Williams and his focus on the music belongs to the people, and really trying to not just have classical music be something for aristocrats and people with money and the means. And there's all kinds of rabbit holes you can go down on that one, as far as his perspective. But just as a composer and who he is, I just loved like the sound. And so that was the initial, like, I was looking for pieces of music. I've always loved serenade to music, and so I revisited it. And I think that the Shakespeare text that comes from The Merchant of Venice, it is really intriguing, and I think it draws parallels to the essence of what it is to be human, by using some of these this discussion of music and the soul, and what is how does the harmony reflect harmony in our own humanness, and how does the discord in music reflect the own discord. And it suggests that someone who is without music you should be wary of, like, maybe that person is not who they say they are. I just think that this conversation of and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, that I think music is just inextricably linked with the human experience, and I think that's what Shakespeare is kind of pointing out, and not making judgment on people, but just pointing out observations, like, when we feel harmonious, how does that how does that feel? What is impacting that? When we feel discord, why is there discord? There might be a reason if we look at the things around us. And so, of course, I'm not a Shakespearean text expert, but I also think that the serenade to music is tremendously intimate and conversational, between the orchestra, the solo violin, and then as the choir enters as a character in this piece, really, in this scene. And then you have the soloists. Originally, it was 16 soloists that Vaughan Williams wrote for, but we're doing it with 4 soloists. So these 4 soloists, soprano, mezzo, tenor, and bass, all have their unique perspective that they're sharing with each other as they have a conversation about this topic of humanness and music. And then the chorus chimes in here and there, like, hey, we affirm that kind of that perspective, or hey, watch out for this, or hey, have you thought about this? And so it's kind of a Greek chorus role. And I just love how honest and vulnerable that it allows singers and the ensemble to be. And Vaughan Williams, with his harmonic language, is it just has this beautiful long legato, almost pastoral sections that he juxtaposes this interesting dissonance that he uses, that he creates, and thus doing, he just creates this beautiful, complex yet simple sounding experience. And I think that it's a really neat reflection of our own humanity, and the complexity of it, while still being like, we just live our simple lives. We just go through our day, and we meet what's there, and we draw conclusions. And I think that this piece really walks us through some of those thoughts.
Okay. What about John Rutter's Gloria?
John Roderick's Gloria is one of my favorite pieces, and if you talk to any choral singer and really orchestra player who plays major works with orchestra, or with chorus rather, it's a joy to perform. So initially, that's just trying to find something contrasting was certainly on my list, but landing and deciding to go with Gloria, I just think the joy that movement one in particular just communicates and exudes is just beautiful. It's just to me it feels like just pure optimism and joy and appreciation in the sacred text and sense. Um, the joy and appreciation of a higher power that's supporting you, and finding meaning in that and comfort in that. But then for our singers and our audience members who maybe do not share or hold that belief or have that same faith that this was composed in, as far as the sacred Gloria text, I think that we can all find joy or think of something that is so joyous and so worth celebrating that we would sing at the top of our lungs. Like we would not be in this good place without this existence or this thing or this person or this viewpoint or whatever. I think that we can, as choral artists and as singers, as instrumentalists, as audience members, we can find the intent behind the text, even if it's sacred or if it's contrary or not of our belief. And so joy and appreciation for that first movement. The second movement is slow and reflective and asks us to consider things, and be grateful. And I think we can also look at that through a sacred and a secular lens. And um, you know whether it's God you're grateful for, or your grandmother that raised you, or whatever you can find something to be really transformatively grateful for. And then the movement three is kind of that return of the joy, but it's new joy. It's new. It's new excitement. It's a joy about the future and the possibilities of it all. And then at the end of that movement, it harkens back to the first movement with the original theme, with the choir coming in and remembering where we started and where we came from, and to not lose sight of the things that lift us all up in a world that you can really be weighted down by the sad and the hurt that happens all around us. And I think that for me as a musician, music has always been that for me. Music helps me get through it all. It lifts me up, it comforts me, it tells me it's going to be okay, and it gives me perspective on how to move forward.
Great. Talk a little bit about the performance at Carnegie Hall.
Sure. Very exciting, first of all. I never thought in my career I would have the opportunity to do half the things I've gotten to do. And so I never take that for granted. And but I'm really honored to be trusted by Mid-America Productions to organize and be a part of a concert at Carnegie Hall, and stand on that stage and on that podium where so many amazing musicians have been before me. And so I take a lot of responsibility, take that responsibility to heart, and really want to be, I really want to honor that space with the performance that we're all giving. And I think it's great that Mid-America Productions develops these concert series that feature community music making. And most of the music making that happens in the United States, in the world, is community based. It is for the people, by the people, really. It's ours. And most of the time, it's just in a school auditorium or a church. or meeting for a sectional in someone's home. It's human, it's community, it's connectedness. And so for Mid-America Productions to produce these concert series throughout the years, for over 40 years, to allow amateur music making to be made in one of the most prestigious concert halls in the United States is pretty neat. And to trust that amateur music making isn't less music making. It's fierce and honest and reflects the humans and musicians and participants that collaborate to create art. And so I think that all of that elevates my excitement for Carnegie Hall, not just the prestige, being able to put that on my CV or fill my ego up, but the fact that I'm doing this with people I care about. I'm doing this with my students, the community that I live in. We're going there together, and like South Valley Symphony has become a part of this experience for me also, which I'm tremendously grateful for, to bring this experience here, keep it here also, and have a local aspect of this Carnegie Hall experience, and not just be something that's, over 3,000 miles away and that no one here gets to experience. So that was really important to me, and I'm grateful for the partners that have made that happen. So anyway, I guess the long and short of it is I'm really excited to participate, and of course I'm looking forward to it, and we'll take lots of photos and I'll just be in the moment for those 30 minutes that I'm up in front of the orchestra and the choir singing for all these people in New York City.
Great. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome to join us at Gilroy High School on March the 14th at 3 p.m. to hear a fantastic concert that South Valley Symphony, South Bay Singers, and the Gilroy High School Choral Ensembles are going to be presenting.